never do introductions, so I'm going to do an actual introduction today. We've got my friend David Lamorte, actor, musician. I would say poet too. You got away with words for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. I think so. Poets. I think poets like even like the first thing that I kind of discovered. I remember even in third grade, that was like the first thing I like remember being recognized for as like an artist or something in that direction. Because I like wrote a poem or a few poems in class, and it was dope, man. That teacher, she really made a big deal out of it, and she like brought me to the front of the class, and she's like, "This is amazing." She's like, "Tell them." And then like I had a couple poems, and I remember even at the time, I wish I had them. That'd be dope. They're like deep, or like I remember that. I don't even know what they were about, but I remember thinking like, "Oh shit!" Like, and plus like an adult saying that too,
Yeah.
like being so young, and like just being able to connect with for somebody who's older. I'm like, oh, so like words. I felt cool about having a way with words. And recently, the thing I did a spoken word piece at the beginning of a play that I just did.
Oh,
So
nice.
it made me think about it too, which is funny to be talking about it now. Like it's like, oh, like poetry is kind of like the first, and of course music. And I remember my teacher saying that she's like, that's because I didn't think of it at the time, but she's like, that's how most musicians, that's what it is. Like it's people writing poetry. I was like, okay. So that recently like came back into my mind, and so I got another song I'm working on that hopefully brings that vibe through.
Nice. Yeah, I look forward to hearing more. I liked the last one. That was cool. I mean, you said a lot in that. Like,
Yeah,
covered
that's my lyric song or whatever. You know,
I
I
feel
thought it
it.
was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I was gonna say, yeah, we can get more into that now, but I guess the big thing to talk about is the short film Ayuda, directed by my brother Patrick Mason,
Hell yeah.
cinematographer Ian Reed. I worked on it. My little brother Christopher worked on it. A bunch of people worked on it.
Yep.
You play one of the lead characters. I figured we could break that down a little bit with no spoilers, of course. But
No. Yeah.
yeah, but that's coming
Definitely.
out. Yeah, coming out
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna. I guess it's playing at the Ohio Film Festival right now, or it's about to.
Yeah, I think they just did that because Patrick and Chris were in Columbus,
Mm.
and
So, yeah.
now they're in Mexico, I think.
Mexico
Yeah.
for with the film for the film or
No, just it's too bad. Yeah, I wish. I know that sounds cool. No, they're just
it's
working, but yeah, they should have taken it down there and done a screening. That would have been cool.
Spanish. You
Yeah.
know, it's mostly pretty much the whole thing is Spanish.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
some a little bit of English here and there, but
Yeah, you'd need less subtitles though if you had it in Mexico
in
because
Mexico,
there's less English in the movie than Spanish.
yeah,
So there you go.
you do English subtitles.
Yeah, the subtitle guy would be a little. He'd have less work to do.
Yeah, I was excited to see the trailer. Trailers are always hyped too. They did a real good job with the trailer, just making it real suspenseful. And it's perfect timing with like Halloween. I love Halloween. It's like my favorite holiday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard the screening went well and everything. So
Yeah.
hopefully on Monday everyone will be real hyped for it.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think I'm excited like you said, no spoilers, because, it does build up to something at the end. So, and even I didn't really see the final product of what they created for the end, because I know they were going to work with it. So, I'm excited to see that. And it was an awesome project to be on. And I felt like we created like a little bubble. And plus that can happen. Well, for me it was maybe a little different experience because like I'm coming from New York and I'm staying in just a place over there. They hooked me up with the hotel, which was awesome. I felt like such a star. And but the idea of just like filming and then going back to sleep and then coming and filming, like it reminded me of when I did this like 4-day meditation retreat, and like, because you're like pretty much just encompassed in that world that you're creating right there. And especially on like the second day or third day, something kind of happens where it's like you settle into it,
Yeah.
and it's real dope. And then, you wish it could go on longer, but eventually we'll be doing films long like that. I would hope that. I've never done a film like for weeks, but I would imagine it's probably really challenging, but also an awesome experience to like really get in that space. So it's cool, man.
Yeah, it was. I remember it seemed like yeah, the whole crew got pretty tight pretty fast, working together and everything. Plus, it's like so cold out too.
It was cold.
I think the cold brings people together.
Yeah, that's true. It's like real, like
Yeah,
the elements, us against nature.
yeah,
No, I remember being cold though. It was. We had like mad foot warmers and hand warmers, and like passing them around, like bunch in my pockets, all ready to go. Layers. I was surprised because I'm thinking Virginia, I think it's gonna be warm,
yeah.
but it's chilly,
Yeah,
cold. Yeah.
Virginia's always unpredictable. Like, I mean, lately it's going from hot to cold constantly. It's like can't decide if it's summer or fall.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of like that here too.
yeah, you just happened to be here when it got nice and cold.
Yeah. It was it was dope though. Dope experience. I love to do something like that again, especially like because I've been doing projects over here in New York, but that's a real cool experience, especially like I was saying because you go there and it's all new. Like I don't know this place, Fort Royal.
Front Royal, yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool, man. A lot of cool people, and everybody's real supportive of it too, and everybody on the team involved, and good experience.
Yeah, well, it's here. I'm gonna text my mom so she doesn't come in here loud, I guess. I think she just got here. Classic. But anyways, I thought it'd be cool to talk about sort of the whole experience. We talked a little bit about it last time, but going from never having heard of Patrick or the movie to you know getting the part, auditioning, all that. I thought it'd be cool to break that down, sort of
Cool.
show the process a little bit. Because I mean, I'm a bit interested. I heard some of it, but it'd be cool to hear like your whole perspective on the whole process.
Yeah. So, um, so about a little more than a year ago is when I first started like really trying to actually get gigs after doing like some intense training over here in Manhattan for a solid year, and then plus my degree, which all that stuff and classes, and applying literally like I apply to like hundreds of things, especially now with like the internet, you could just do a whole bunch. Um, so I of course applied. So this and always anything like suspense or like horror or that has action in it, especially if I'm gonna get to like do some running and stuff. I love that stuff because I feel like part of me feels like underneath I just want to be like an action star or something.
Yeah.
Like even like Jackie Chan's like the shit. And so first I just heard back from them after you know, you just put in like resume and they have your headshots and everything and they see you. And they wanted me to send over a tape. So I sent over. So right, this thing right here, you can set up a green screen or like either a backdrop, white or black. So I did just like I think the white or black backdrop, and then I have like these lights, and because I was trying to like take it seriously, I wanted to be like a good one.
Yeah.
And I think it's this is how lazy I am right now, okay? This is a little embarrassing, but this is what I did in the audition. And I literally have this right here, which is the shovel.
Yeah.
It's still in my room from a year ago when I auditioned for this.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, in front of the screen, and I remember like, and I'm doing like my lines, and so, and this is what's happening too. So as I'm filming that audition, I have in one ear, because I had the earbuds before I freaking lost mine.
Yeah.
I had one earbud in the ear because I want it to be good, but it takes me a long time to memorize lines personally. But I want it to be like still like authentic and on point. So what I had was um I have it the lines, like I recorded them up and back, which I always do. Like when I record lines for even just memorizing, I do, you know, the person's part like this close to the phone, like I'm recording the phone, and I say hello, and then how are you, and I hold it far away, so like when I play it back, I can be a little bit louder over my own voice. So I'll do this, and then that, and this, and that for the conversation part, which is how I helps me memorize, and that's like been my process, even with the play I'm doing now. And so I had that in my ear, and I'm doing that while I'm doing this, and like doing like, and it's plus it's all in Spanish too, which is not my first language, but I'm like, comfortable working with it. And then I love, I love the language, and I love the culture, and it's my culture too. And so yeah, and then I sent that over, and then I heard back from them, and they were pretty excited about it, and I was just hyped because like is one of like the first 50 things, which is not, it sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot. It's like one of the first 50 things that I applied to when I first started acting and trying to actually get gigs. And I was like, oh shit, this is it. And this is before like I get the part, but it's like, this could be, I would get to go to Virginia and stay there and like get paid to like do this and like be in Spanish. And so then I was waiting to hear back from them, and this is when I went to Vegas, and I was in Vegas for SEMA, which is a car show over there for work, and I needed to. They wanted me to send another tape over for like a different page, sides they call them, like you get the sides and then you go through them. So I remember it like, cause it was hectic SEMA, like especially I'm working, like so you get up early and you work till all night and then you're tired, and then plus at night people are hanging out. So I knew the only time to really do it was like early in the morning. So I remember like getting up at like 5 in the morning, going outside in Vegas, like trying to set up the camera, like so like on my phone. I'm like I can, because the first video I sent I was like proud of. I was like I had my backdrop and my little shovel and the light. I'm like, oh shit, I could send like one on my phone. They're like, yeah, that's fine, just send it. So I was like setting it up and everything, and then I did it. And I remember like sending it over, and did it like at 6, 7 in the morning. By the time it was like all set up and everybody sleeping, so I had my time. And Vegas, that was so nice in the morning, man. That sunrise. Maybe the vibes were all right too.
Yeah.
But it's funny how this is all part of the same experience, because I have like that's a separate like good memory for me. But now, of course, it makes sense that they're together, all of this. And so then I sent it over, and I think a day later when I was still in SEMA, I heard back that I got the part.
Yeah.
Oh man, that shit was crazy. I was so excited because, especially I thought it was so cool too, because I'm in Vegas right now, and I just found out I'm also going to Virginia.
Yeah.
And like I didn't grow up traveling a lot. Like don't go anywhere, just like here, New York, Long Island, or the city, or maybe Pennsylvania. Like went to Florida once, and so it's just like, oh shit, like I'm traveling, like, and I felt like something's happening, and I still, I mean, that's why it was a really cool experience altogether. So yeah, and then in Vegas, found out I got the part, and then I was hyped. I was telling my friend there, and he was real happy for me, and so yeah, so everything was solidified, and then a couple weeks later, I'm driving to Virginia, and this is an odd story, so but I'm gonna tell it anyway, cause right?
Yeah, go for it.
Cause I don't think I've ever talked to you about this. So I'm going to Virginia, right? I finally get there. I never drove to Virginia by myself. I visited Virginia once when I was a kid. Passing DC, and then I get into Virginia. Virginia's for lovers, right? Which works into the story because it felt like a movie because that's like it was like think of that as like the first frame of the movie. Like you just like pull up, like you're getting into Virginia, and it's like Virginia's for lovers, and maybe a little bit of creepy music in the background.
Yeah.
And then so I get to this the first rest stop because I gotta pee. So I go in, use the bathroom, and it's a little shady, and it's a little late. It's dark. I've never been this area, and I go into the bathroom, and I'm using the urinal, and there's another urinal next to me, and there's this little brown guy. I don't know if he's Indian or Spanish or some sort of mix, in a like jumpsuit, like a full jumpsuit, and I guess like one of those, like delivery guy jumpsuits or whatever.
Right.
And he looks over. This is at the time I'm like, I think he's looking over at me right now, and I'm peeing, and he's looking. He first does a little glance like this.
Oh,
right?
he's trying to be sly about it at first.
At first he does this, and like I'm like, wait a second. And I'm thinking of all my martial arts training, right? And I'm like, okay, like prepared. I have this my little knife here in the pocket just in case, but you never want to use that really ever because you never want to assume that you would need that. But just in case, and then he really, really starts looking, and then he does this, and smiles and leans over.
No.
Me, leans over and I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I'm like about to like, I don't even know what I'm about to do. And part of me is like conflicted because I'm like kind of feeling like a bitch at this point, right? I'm like, I can't just let this fucking guy, what the fuck is he thinking? Like, and then my ego is getting inflated. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, and then I'm thinking, I'm about to do this film. Good things are happening. Like, you were just in Vegas. You're coming to Virginia. Like, maybe this is a test. This is what I'm thinking as I'm at the fucking urinal. I'm like, maybe this is a test. Like, you could be in jail tonight, or you can just, like, you could just go make a movie. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. And then I just felt so violated. I felt like, oh, gross. I just felt so gross. And then a dad walked in, like with his two kids. And I remember feeling like relief, like, oh, it's okay. Like, there's a family here.
Yeah.
Like, things are safe. I was like, went to being like 6 years old at that second.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And then he leaves. And I finish going to the bathroom because I wasn't able to really pee that whole time. So I'm like, I can't fucking pee, and I'm worried about this guy. And then, okay. So I take my time, use the bathroom, wash my hands. I go outside. This guy is standing there still. And I'm like, this is not a coincidence. Like, he's not staring at me, but he's just like standing there.
Yeah.
And I wish there was a cooler climax to the story, but because I didn't react. Like, I wish it was like maybe I'll write into a script where it's like I fucking beat the shit out of this guy and fucking elbow him and like there's an altercation. But it was just this weird creepy fucking thing, and he like half follows me, and I'm like, is this motherfucker like what oh. And it was like testing my masculinity. I'm like, what am I gonna pop off with this guy right here now? And then like, I don't know. So I didn't do nothing about it. And then I just fucking left. And then he stopped following me, and I just pulled off. And that was my first experience coming to Virginia. And then I get to the hotel, and it's like, not that the hotel was like horrible, but it felt horrible because I think of like I'm combining experiences.
Yeah.
And it was a weird intro. to like the whole process, and I'm like, okay, this is the universe testing. Like this is like weird shit just coming up, like this guy, and then this place. So, and then when I got to the next day, we got to set like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever we're doing, cold early. Then we met in that gravelish parking lot. I remember,
Yeah.
I feel like it was gravel. I don't know if it really was or just dirt,
Yeah, I think
but
that there's probably a little bit of gravel. I don't know.
um,
It's probably not the most important part. I don't know
yeah.
because I don't remember.
And everybody, I got there early and everybody started getting out of their cars and I started meeting everybody. And like you said, it felt like even like within the first hour, because like, you know, especially as everyone first coming on the first day, people are trickling in and getting there. And it did feel pretty quickly that everyone was like together in this little unit. And, and then from there, we just pretty much started going right away. Like we just started filming, and the first day we didn't go to the college. Oh, were we already at the college the first day?
I think that was the second day. Weren't you mostly doing the driving scenes the first day?
The first day we did the driving scene. We did the morning. They cut out the whole morning that we did because we did at that corner store.
Oh
And I
yeah.
remember coming out, be like, and I thought it was so cool, like doing my little intro. I'm like, yo, cabrón, like, what's up? And yeah, that was the car pulling up. So that was that location with that dog. They had the dog there. That was cool. Those were all cool people too, and they were all down for it. And yeah, so yeah, and then we pretty much just hit off and just kept filming, and it was just pretty much a ride. And did like in the car scenes. Those first day we did a lot of car shots, and working with Ian and everybody, and Patrick, and everyone's trying to like really make it happen. And that was like still, even though I've done like I don't even know how many, like not crazy amount, but I would say at least 10 projects I think this year, and that one still like stands out. And maybe also because like the beginning was like trying and it
Yeah.
was like weird, and then it turns around and it's like, and because like the second day I get back to the hotel, I'm like, this isn't so bad, like this is a cool place, I'm cool. And that college was cool too. We got to eat there at the Christian place, Catholic,
Yeah.
evangelicals.
I think Catholic. Yeah. I can't even
Yeah.
think. What was the name of? I can't. It doesn't matter. We don't need to put them on blast.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah. You guys had a decent lunch. Yeah.
had good lunch. It was, you know, yeah. I remember, and we got all warmed up over there. And the last day, I think we shot till later the last day. 'Cause I remember I think driving home later, and then we were contemplating like staying another day to get more audio, but it turned out that we already recorded enough audio for it to work, so it worked out. And yeah, so we just banged it out. Just 3 solid days, keep going, moving from every day. It was sun up to sundown, and even a little bit after sundown on that last day with some of those shots. We're losing daylight. I really love shooting in the woods too, because that's always cool. Even though, like you said, it's cold as hell. But and that's when I got a chance to like do some running, a little tripping and falling. And I like all that stuff, ducking under branches. Cause like, what was it? I was listening to something the other day, and it was talking about how like, wealth and being successful, and it's like you wanna be able to like try to get paid for things that you've kind of would already be doing, and like I think of that, like even as silly as it is, like that's like I feel like something I wouldn't do it now. I guess I would if I let myself go enough, but like definitely when I was a kid, like running through the woods, like ducking up under branches, like just for fun, and it's like that seems to be an indicator of like maybe we're talking about like doing more of the action stuff, an indicator of like something I'd like to do, because if that's something I'm like fantasizing or thinking about, then to get paid for doing something like that,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's kind of the goal for a
hey,
job. It's like I love doing this, make some money, and plus, like with action movies, you can. I mean, there's obviously like the fantasy side of it and stuff, but like if you could get to the point where you're like Tom Cruise, like just picking these huge
oh, how
ambitious scenes, it's like, or Jackie Chan, like those guys that pushed it
man,
to the
he's the
next level.
yeah.
It's just so exciting to see people push it. Like,
I've been thinking like, cause I huge influence, I've done martial arts for a number of years, and it's always still a big influence. And I would love to like do something. I don't know if it would be weird, like me myself being the one, but like do some martial arts, but like really bring it. But I would have to do it in a different way. Because think about how Jackie Chan purposely was how he was because he knew he had to like in a way follow up Bruce Lee. So and even Jackie Chan talks about it like Bruce Lee kicked high, I kicked low. Bruce Lee was serious, I was funny. And like Bruce Lee never got like hurt really. And Jackie Chan, you always see him like, oh, rubbing his head like and getting hurt in like all the scenes. And like when you watch back the movies, it totally makes sense. And that's why it's so dope too, because of how aware he was of that. Like not just as like a martial artist, but he's a filmmaker and like I would love to figure a way to like bring everything into one, like martial arts, music, movies, meditation. Like I would love to like, and maybe through whatever web series that I've been trying to fumble around writing is kind of the ticket to that. And yeah, I think I'd like to do, but see also like, but not be corny at the same time because like it's hard to do martial arts or action and not have it be like corny, you know. But so yeah, maybe that's something that'll happen down the line.
that would be dope. It's funny because I was just watching, was it Battle in the Bronx?
Rumble in the
Rumble in the
Bronx.
Bronx. Yeah, wow. I'd never seen it, but I just saw part of it. It came on TV, and it's funny. It's hilarious. Like
Love it.
Jackie's reactions every time something happens. He is like, "Oh no!" And he's like limping around, like he's.
Yeah,
And then,
shot Vancouver.
oh, nice.
Oh, that movie's a huge influence. That's like one of my, maybe, I think one of the first movies I remember seeing in the movie theater also. Because it was like 95, I think. So it means I was like 5 or 6. But yeah, that movie was the shit, man. I loved it. And you know what's huge too? At the end, like I don't know if you remember, at the end there's all the bloopers, and like that I think is one of the biggest reasons why I want to do movies. Like those things at the end, the bloopers
Hmm.
and all that. And I remember Liar Liar too was an experience like that I saw because I saw that in the movie theaters. And at the end, it's like it seemed like magic. Like oh shit, like these people like because you realize they're making a movie and it looks like they're having the fucking best time they've ever had in their life. And well, Jackie Chan was different. It's just him getting hurt,
Yeah,
which is awesome
constantly.
too. And then he like broke his ankle, and then they put like a stretch shoe, like a fake shoe, stretch over his cast, over his foot to make it look like he was wearing a shoe, so he could keep going and doing all his crazy stunts because he does all his own stuff. Yeah, and dirt bikes were in that movie,
Yeah,
and
riding on the cars.
oh man,
Yeah.
that shit was yeah, especially because I was that was like when I was little, I used to ride dirt bikes and like started like 5, 6 years old. And so it was like, man, I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself right now just talking about this, bro. Like I already know this, but it's like reinforcing. It's like, oh, no wonder why. Like I want to do like all this movies and like thinking this action stuff and like have this little dirt bike when I'm 5 years old. I go see a Jackie Chan movie. They're like, what? Like, oh shit. Yeah, it's amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, it
And
does.
that movie killed it.
Yeah, it doesn't get much cooler than that. My little brother Chris was talking. He was watching like behind the scenes for that, or reading or something. But he was saying like on the dirt bike scene on the car at one point, like the lady face planted or whoever the stunt person was. I don't know if it was a man or woman, but like that movie they got down like it's crazy.
Yeah, it was relatively low budget. I think it was like $8 million, but they made like over 10 times back, and that's something that'd be sick to do too. Like, cause I feel like you can make like a movie for a few million if you could do that, which isn't a lot, but I mean it's a lot of money, but like for a movie, and
Yeah.
then have it be that huge. Even something like Pulp Fiction was like a few million, but like just because it's done so well and just casted so perfectly, and the voice is strong in it, and the point of view and the characters are strong, the writing's strong, the cinematography's strong, and these movies, I guess that's everybody's dream. That's probably what, your brother wants too, to be able to do. So yeah, man, movies.
Yeah, it's cool. I think a lot of the best movies for me are ones that they really kind of risk it. Like
Right.
like they don't always have a bunch of money or the most experience, and they like really try to do something new. I mean, and in Jackie Chan's case, something where he's constantly getting hurt and rewriting scenes so that he can get through them because of injuries. It's like I don't know, that desire to like really push your limits to like make something great. I think that's where it's at, and that's probably,
Yeah.
I would assume that's a big part of why you want to combine all these things you've worked on, because you can push your limit in all these different elements at the same time and just like create something new and find something new that you like want to express, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think of it, because that's really what we want to do, is like push these limits, right? And like grow, or like at least feel like you're growing and feel like you're moving forward. So that's, I didn't really think about it that way. It's like if you get everything together, and then you could be expanding at all areas at once like this. So yeah, man, maybe it's something really I gotta figure out. And I had, which was pretty crazy. I had this, like, it's not a psychic reading, but I don't know what they would call it. But recently, um, it's like a combination of like numerology and like astrology. They tell you, like, based off of like when you're born, and exact time you were born, exact location. Like, you have this chart, and like tells you all about your life. And I just had this reading, and it was bugged out, man. We've been saying like this year, like, she's like, and you gotta get your shit together this year. And I'm like, I'm sure you could say that to everybody, but like it did feel like it felt real true for me, especially like with, what we're talking about now, which is maybe why we're talking about it. It's because like figuring out how to really combine all those things. Because she was like, I could see you're trying to find your purpose, and you're trying it in so many different things. And I'm like, I could see that, music, film, poetry. I am, and she's like, it's you're seeking though an external strength, and it really has to be an internal strength, to where you can get to that true part of you, and then spread it out to others, instead of like trying to get this external stuff. We talked about a lot of stuff, man. It's 2 hours, so it's just for 2 hours. She's just talking. Like, I just got the tapes actually, so I'm gonna listen to them later.
Oh, nice. So you have the whole thing, just audio, or do you have
On
video too?
No, just audio. It was on the
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, but I guess
Yeah,
you can. Dang, 2 hours. Yeah, that's talking to anybody for 2 hours. You're gonna like come up with, especially someone that's trying to parse out ideas. Like you're gonna come up with something that either you haven't thought of yet, or you've kind of like. A lot of times, I'll notice stuff. Like I feel like mentally we build up walls. I think we talked about this last time, but where you have an idea, and it's really powerful, and then for some reason you start like blocking it in your own mind. Um,
yeah. Resistance.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then there's those moments, whether it's talking to someone or seeing a movie, something that inspires you, or like a crazy workout, just something, and you'll feel like, oh, I've got that idea back, or that spark back.
yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing, because, and I feel like I'm constantly struggling through that, and I even feel like that's everything. Like, self-sabotage is like, why ever I am or anybody is, where they're not where they want to be, but they feel. it's like this anguish, like you feel your own potential, but you could feel your own like something doesn't add up. And it doesn't add up because I think of the self-sabotage that's so underlying, like you don't deserve this, or like if you do get it, then you'll be one of them, and like you don't want to be one of them. Like, where it's good to like say I'm like I never, because I think about it, it's like if I don't think it's cool to have money, or if it's like if I resent the popular kid, or if I resent the successful people, it's like you're on the other side, so you want to stay there. So like when you're trying to get money or like be successful, it's like you're subconsciously gonna always undercut yourself. And I feel like I'm just trying to catch myself in those things, which is especially like after the reading, which she was talking about, and talking about how like I'm ending a cycle now. It's been a long cycle, and then this upcoming year have really chance to like grow into some things, which I've been feeling. And plus, I guess because I'm 29. I'm about to next year. I'm about to turn 30. So like that feels like something too. Like even though it's just like a round number, but it does feel like I want to make some significance of it.
It's hard.
But
It's hard to avoid the significance of it, like the decades, and I even think like turning 28. It's like they say what all your cells are new every 7 years or something. It's like you're literally, physically a new person. It's like that. That's crazy. Oh, that ties into martial arts. People talk like, every cell in my body, is trained to fight or trained to do martial arts. They, I saw this breakdown of Carlos Condit in the UFC, and they showed that his body is so fine tuned, his mind is so fine tuned to martial arts that in the middle of a punch he could change it to an elbow, and they said nobody could do this that hasn't trained like their whole life. Like it's impossible mentally to be that fast. It's like I don't know, it's interesting.
that's awesome. Yeah, that level of efficiency or dedication or just ability is sick. Especially that specifically because that's something you can't do.
Yeah.
Like you can't just pull that off. And I know too. That's no joke.
But yeah, it's interesting thinking, yeah, about the different phases of life and how there's all these different. I think like there's a bunch of different phases we're going through that last different amounts of time, and it's like trying to like get everything to line up almost, where it's like mentally, physically, spiritually, we're just like, all right, you
Yeah.
can take a step, and I think I don't know, I think that's the battle all the time. You want to be as close to that zone all the time.
Yeah. Definitely. So it's like so you have a full range of health, I guess. To try to think of things. I mean, we separate things into categories because that's what the mind wants to do.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like a wholeness. But there feels like there's so many things to work on. There's like your buckets, It's like I got have the money good, gotta have like the job good, the relationship good, you know. So it does feel like so many things, but I guess I've been trying to think of it, and it's hard to do. Like as one, really, which is it's like some meditative way to be, some Zen. It's like if you want to do something, you just do it because every moment is just its own moment. It's like I understand the concept, and I've been studying all that stuff for years, but it's still so foreign. Like the idea of even living in the moment, or like this play that I'm in now. That I have my last performance tonight. It was just we rehearsed all month, but so we just have two performances. So we had one yesterday, and we got one tonight in Queens, and like I have the lines down, and it's the most lines I've ever got down. It's just like 37 pages, but it's just two people up and back, so it's just straight dialogue. So it's a lot of talking. And man, give respect to all these actors, man, because this shit's no joke. Like the craft of it is so challenging because it's kind of like what we're talking about. You feel there's so many things to work on. There's like stage presence, there's voice, there's how you turn, connecting, then being emotional on top of everything while having your lines down, while remembering your blocking where you're supposed to stand and where you're supposed to come down on stage and when you're supposed to shake hands at the right time and have this all. be just natural, and it's challenging, man. It's real challenging. Like music in a way is, or even when you like watch a movie, like so you're like sitting home and you're relaxed and watch a movie, it's like easy. It can be easy to like cry and watching a movie, and it's like, oh shit, I think I could do this. Like I could do some acting because like I'm emotional and I could like cry when watching a movie. I mean, we all can, and it's like to be able to generate that from your own self when there's no music playing in your ear, when there's no like special like filter cinematography wise, and you have to like try to create those moments yourself, and it's like that's what I want to be able to do. And it's funny because the person that I had the reading with, they're saying that, and I don't know how thrown off people are going to be by this, but like the reason why I'm so emotional in this life is it's like it's the first time me feeling emotions because in past lives I've ignored my feelings and that I was a provider and that I provided for my family and that I thought they knew, I thought they felt loved by me, but they never did. And like, because I just associate the providing with the love. So in this life, I am just being bum rushed with all these constant feelings because it's being brought to me like, hey, this is what you're ignoring. This is just if you really want to get past this place or get past this realm, or whatever people. I don't even know what I think about all this stuff. I just try to, as I'm doing the reading, I'm trying to think. I'm doing it like as if I was watching a movie or like doing a scene or like watching Game of Thrones, like you take that all in. You don't like go like, oh, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if like that's a White Walker. I don't know. That doesn't make. I was just trying to take it in like it's all true, and let my guard down and not feel like, oh, this is hoaxy, and because I don't think it doesn't even matter. Like that's how I feel now. Like it doesn't even matter if it's ringing true. It doesn't even matter if it's ringing true. It's what it is, and so it makes sense that I'm like doing music and acting and like basically trying to figure out how to control my emotions through all these different platforms, even martial arts. Like this is one of the first things, you know, and it's like controlling your body, controlling your mind, breathing, and all the things that I'm interested in, like all the meditation and all the books and all the audio books and all the lectures and all the workshops and all the classes. It's like all kind of connected to that. It's like, you want to have like that total awareness so that you're, I don't know if control is the right way, but like control of your emotions instead of like having them have you. So yeah, it makes sense that like the stuff that I'm doing, I guess, but it's definitely challenging, you know.
I feel it.
So I feel like feel it. It doesn't feel like I feel everything, you know. And I feel nothing, and then I feel death inside,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I go to the range.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I'm gonna do a big segue, but speaking of
cool.
controlling emotions, I know you said you want to talk a bit about Khabib and Conor, which is like that's crazy, and I haven't talked about that on the show yet, so gotta get into that. That was interesting. I've heard a lot of different takes on it. A lot of people
Yeah,
saying, obviously the culture clash. People in Dublin talk a lot of shit. People in Dagestan, you can't talk any shit. Like you can't get away.
yeah,
You can't get away with it. They're different kind of people. They're up in the mountains. They're isolated. They're tough. They don't put up with anything. So I get that from Khabib's perspective, but I don't know. That was a wild one. What do you think about the whole thing, the fight, and then there's the build up, the fight, and then there's the aftermath. There's so much to go over.
yeah. Well, I think it's pretty solid. Everyone knows that he did win the fight. Like he clearly won the fight itself. And yeah, see, I don't know because I was never one to really able to like shit talk really, and I mean, it seemed to work for Conor at least in the past, but I felt like he was gonna lose. I felt like Conor was gonna lose. Especially like this one picture I saw just made me feel like it. Um, Not that he's not amazing, and not that it. I mean, it could be anybody's day, you know. You never know, but I I get it, and I've been trying to learn to not judge, especially as I think about like learning about masculine and feminine energy. Like it makes sense to like be like solid and pump yourself up, be like, nah, fuck it, this is who I am, and like fuck you, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, and I'm manifesting it, and that's what it is. But say, I just not like that, but so there's that whole build up to it, and then the fight itself, which I think he just could be dominated, and man, he's got some skills, man. I saw like this video of him wrestling a bear when he was a kid. I was like, oh, that makes sense. He's
Yeah.
like just been going at it, and then of course, what I didn't expect was him just jumping right over. And I think like most people, before I saw like the breakdowns later on, I didn't realize all that stuff was going on, and that Connor actually threw one of the first punches at his other boy as he was climbing over, and then that started another fight. And I thought that was crazy. That and I mean I'm just glad that it didn't get really bad because you're just like this huge venue of like so many people. I know there was like a couple fights, but shit could get crazy, you know, especially depending on how people feeling, looking for an excuse. I think that was the part that was really irresponsible of Khabib to do. Like, you know, what do I know? But like just because of the public safety thing, and like that could have been like a big problem. Maybe even right outside, especially like with two warring countries or like just two cultures that are clashing. And I mean, but I don't know. He did what he felt. He felt like he did what was right in the moment, and he didn't seem to apologize really for it. I mean, he did apologize, but
Yeah, barely.
he like apologized, but then was like, "But what do you mean? Like he said he was talking shit. Like what about that? Like oh, so and I don't know who they're gonna if they're gonna pay him his money or I don't know if that's already been settled. But yeah, it's just I don't think it was the way to go. Jumping over the cage like that, and then I guess I don't know, man. But it was definitely crazy, and like it ends up being like the most entertaining part, sadly enough. But yeah, I'm just glad no one died, and it was just pretty surprising to see.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when you start involving, the crowd and bystanders. That's what's bad. As far as like Khabib going after Dylan Dennis, it's like okay, it's a fighter going after another fighter. So I was like, I can understand that. It's like
Right.
Connor's. Although it's weird because Connor's team, took the fight to Khabib, in the bus and throwing stuff and all that. But
Exactly.
Dylan Dennis wasn't actually there.
Yeah.
He talks a bunch of shit on social media, but he actually wasn't there, so that's a bit odd. I get it because he's like the most recognizable guy in Connor's team, and probably was pretty loud on Instagram. But come on, it's Instagram.
Right.
You
Right.
don't gotta
Yeah.
take that personal. I guess that was surprising that because you'd think he'd want to go beat up Artem or something because Artem Lobov had insulted him, but I don't know.
In the moment, I guess it doesn't. They just direct it to that team. I guess it's like team gang mentality. It's
Yeah,
like you're part of that gang. He said it. We're getting you.
like at least
So
at least Khabib went after a guy who's bigger than him too. Like if he had gone after like a little guy or something, that'd have been I don't
yeah.
know. But even with Connor throwing the punch in the cage, because who was one of the guys on Khabib's team was saying before the fight he was gonna go slap Connor afterwards, and then he was like bragging afterwards that he hit him. So I
Uh,
think Connor throwing the punch, I think he knew it's like, oh, our teams are fighting. Okay, I'll get in on this.
that's true. And he's climbing over, right? So at
Yeah,
that time, it's like a brawl status. which
Yeah.
I haven't seen a brawl in a while since high school maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know anything about fighting or, being in that situation, two basically gangs, but also they're like gangs, but in the entertainment industry. Like that's such a strange thing because they really do have
yeah,
a team that will get on a jet and fly to New York from Ireland to throw shit through a bus window at somebody because they disrespected your teammate and slapped him a little bit. And then on
yeah.
Khabib's side, dude, his team, I think they're legit ride or die. Like if Khabib was like,
The Russians don't fuck around, man.
yeah, like if he was like, there are men with machine guns, we must fight them. They'd be like, yeah, sure, fine. I'm like, whoa, like that's
Yeah,
loyalty right there.
it's
I
a
don't
little
know.
scary.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I feel like though, distancing a little bit after the fight, maybe it's not as big of a deal as it seemed like because no one got hurt too bad. Maybe Connor did,
Yeah, and he
and
didn't press charges.
yeah, he probably got hurt the worst. I mean, he did catch at least one guy with a good punch. There are a couple guys with black eyes, I think, at the end of that. But I don't know. It's wild. It's good that it didn't really turn into like a Russia versus Ireland brawl in the whole
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah, I'm glad that didn't.
Because both guys have like super loyal fans, people that
Yeah, and
really
I'm kind of
back them up.
surprised it didn't. Like, I'm surprised that that's because that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's gonna get bad, but I'm surprised that it didn't get even worse. So, good.
Yeah. As far as though saying it's not as a super serious thing, it could have gone much worse. So you can't have any of it because of the potential. So in the future, that I know they're going to be super careful because it's like they kind of dodged a bullet on this one. That the only people that got hit were people that are paid to get hit.
Fighters. Yeah, right. Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna be now. How they're gonna change up strategy or security. I don't know. It seems such a huge thing to, such a huge event to like handle. Like it must be teams of people just, and they said I mean, they had tons of security, but I guess they did a good job because it could have got a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the video? Daniel Cormier was talking about this. There's a fan sitting next to him, like super rich dude, great seats, in like a suit jacket, glasses on, whatever, kind of a normal nerdy looking guy. And when the melee happened, he got up from his seat and ran into the cage just to check on Connor. So there's a crowd against the cage with, Russians and security and maybe some of Connor's team at this point. And, Connor's up against the cage and it's this whole, scuffle. I don't think anyone's really throwing punches at this point, but the guy actually ran straight up to the crowd and was like peeling through it to make sure Connor was okay just because he was a fan of his.
Wow,
I was like, what a guy.
dedicated.
Yeah. But it's funny because that's how out of control the whole thing was, is a guy went from his seat to the cage, back to his seat, and
That
no
he
one
could do that.
noticed. Yeah. No one even noticed on video until Cormier told the story in an interview.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But
That shows how crazy it was. Because
yeah.
imagine getting in any scenario, like getting away with even just getting that close or leaving your seat and getting that close.
Yeah. But mad respect to that guy because that's not a fair weather fan. That's a guy like my guy just got beat and now there's a melee and I better go check on him real quick.
Yeah, just in case he needs me.
Yeah, that was kind of hilarious. But yeah, I don't know if I would do that. If there's a melee in the cage, I'm like, I'm not going in there. Hell
No,
no.
you gotta if you see what's going around, you know. Because even if you leave, that could be dangerous too. Because you don't know what's going on outside.
True.
Maybe sometimes it's better to stay where you know it's coming. I mean, I would want to get the hell out of there. I would be careful. I would be doing an exit, but try to find like just the paths that nothing chaos is happening. Follow the path of non-chaos until I can
Yeah.
exit, and hopefully that path leads directly out. And then you could go into Vegas that has no cops in it because they're all over there. So I don't know. That might be worse. Now you go into the street, there's no cops around
Yeah, that's
because they're
never
all at the
good.
fight.
Uh, but oh, I meant to ask last time. Um, in martial arts, when you were kind of coming up in that, were you doing tournaments or anything where you were actually like doing those point karate fight
I
training?
yeah, I was doing some of that. I did a few of those. Um, Especially like when I first started, like the first few years, which were cool. I didn't love them. It was cool to just like to just do it, to just like have a day that was like about it and like do little like points. But it didn't feel right. It didn't feel authentic. Like the first time it did because like it was like one of my first times and I like went against a higher belt and like I won. So like that experience was really cool. But the ones after that, especially like if I didn't win or like it didn't feel right. Like sometimes even the wins wouldn't feel like wins and the losses wouldn't feel like right losses because it's just like it's like a game of tag and it's like I don't know. It's not testing you in the ways that I guess I want to be tested.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I'm more tested even just especially like just at dojos and like being in the circuit with people like those like especially not the point fighting but like some real fight not real fighting but like gloves or that felt more authentic especially when I started doing some uh BJJ with the guys because that's what's awesome about that art and I never end up competing in those at official tournaments. I was about to, but then I hurt my shoulder, which I was upset about because I was excited to do that. Um, that shit is because what's awesome about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like you can really like try to do it like with like karate or like I feel like I'm doing this a lot today. Like karate or um, punching and kicking. It's not like you're really punching each other in the face as hard as you can, or like you can. How many times can you do that? I mean, I guess you can, but like especially in the atmosphere of like these are people you work with all the time, and these are your friends, and this is family. You can't really be hitting each other like so. You can never really like even test like that spinning fucking heel kick, spinning back kick. You can, but like you catch somebody with it, and that could be horrible, and which could be cool in the moment, but like I said, how many people are down to do that? But with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, like you could really go for that armbar, and you could really try to get somebody in a triangle, and that's what I always loved about it too. And I was talking to somebody I was at a Halloween party yesterday. Someone who does Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is getting me thinking about it again because I'll do some like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but be dope to like really get tested again, especially with because you could really push it like not like but yeah I did a couple tournaments and then but no not much it was cool it was all right though it was cool like a little trophy here and there but not like Joe Rogan status or anything
Yeah.
and those were like those he did like do full contact tournaments which I didn't do I don't even know if they really had them available not around here at least or on a maybe on in a different type of atmosphere or different type of community, but it's not full contact fighting
Yeah.
like which is the old school stuff, but they don't do that as much. But I can see why because punch people in the face and people get knocked out all the time and it could
Yeah.
be bad.
It's probably not a good look to have a kids martial arts tournament and then they're all like knocked out at the end. Like that doesn't seem like a good day for them.
Yeah,
It's like you get a concussion and some orange slices, but
but that's it.
that's about it. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we just hit an hour. If you have any other topics you want to get into, I'm down, or we can call it a
yeah. I
day.
don't think it's specific. I'm down to call it a day. Gotta get ready for my play
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
and go do a line through and get ready, tie my hair back, so look
Oh yeah,
like a
I guess
proper
I
citizen.
I do want to ask just a little bit about the play. What's it about?
So it's called Absolution, and it's um to make a short description of it because anytime I try to explain it more, like it just makes it worse. But So it's basically like a guy coming in this dystopian new type of world. Like it's basically just an office and it's like colorfully categorized. And he goes into the office and meets with the guy, and he's trying to be absolved of his sin, of his guilt, but he can't seem to. He's trying to be absolved of his guilt, but the person who is like that modern day, the modern day priest or whatever, he's not. He's just saying, "Oh yeah, you're forgiven." He's like, "Wait, don't I have to say what I'm guilty?" He's like, "No, no, no, you're forgiven. Don't worry about it." And that's kind of like what the play is about, of him like trying to like get absolved and like have closure and be like forgiven, but like in this world where like it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Just take your papers and you're good, and we'll sign off on them. And so it's an interesting thing to think about. And then at the end, I end up like being a part of. I become his like worker. So like I guess I get taken over in a way and like give myself over to this new world. Um, so yeah, I get better explaining things, but that was my attempt. So yeah, so that's the play. Should be cool. Very cool people, and yeah, I would say come by, but a little far away. I got a free comp, so if you want to come, you got a couple hours if you want to try to make it.
Have to leave quick.
Yeah, but that's it, man.
That's cool, man. It's cool seeing you do. I see on your Instagram and stuff all these different projects. That's awesome. Getting a lot done.
Yeah, try to be on that Insta. Follow me on Insta, Ante Lamorte.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll put some links, and if you have any other stuff you want to blast out there, I
Cool.
can share some links and all that. And Ayuda, well, this will probably be out tomorrow, which is when Ayuda's out.
Cool.
So
Yeah, you that coming out. I'm excited. Got a new song coming out. I'll let you know. It's just finishing up with the producer right now. And so yeah. And we'll keep each other in the loop, man. Thanks for all this. I'm always glad to do this, man.
yeah, it's a good time, man. I appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing who else you could surprise me. Like, how do you get him? Oh, all right, cool. I'm gonna watch it.
I know. I get a random guest list. It's like, but people are so cool, man. People give their time if you're cool to them. So it's awesome. But good talking, man. Good times.
All right,
Good luck tonight with your performance, and I'll talk to you soon.
You do your thing, man. See you soon.
All right, peace.
Peace.